The review which you are about to see is an account of a figure by NECA Toys, a recreation of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ultimate NECA Toys, Pretty Woman, Leatherface. Sure. Why not? So, yes, we are back at it again with the NECA Toys. Today we're looking at Leatherface, one of the most iconic horror characters that I have yet to cover. So, here he is with Marvel Select Spider-Man, quite a bit bigger than him. Then I figured it'd also be fun to have him up against his Mortal Kombat X rival, Jason. So there you go. He's actually quite a bit taller than Jason, which is interesting. As far as how tall he actually is, let's find out together. So from the bottom of his very choice design platform shoe, whatever you want to call him, he is just about 8 inches tall to the top of the hair poof there. And then for reference, that is, let's say, about just under 21 centimeters tall. So, yeah, this guy is actually pretty big. Definitely got some size to him, but that would make sense given the character. I mean, Leatherface is pretty famous for being, a larger size dude, especially with this, Gunnar Hansen. The character, the actor that a lot of people think of when they think of this character. So, yeah, I guess let's get right into the details. So, this is the Pretty Woman disguise or outfit or whatever you want to call it. And he's got that really weird looking face. And I'm not saying that, this in and of itself is weird. It's just really disturbing, this with the whole other context of, the dinner scene and the, grandpa in the wheelchair and you think he's dead, but then he moves and, all of that. It's a really disturbing thing. So I'm sure that's what they're trying to emulate there. And NECA did a really good job with that. I like the, really badly applied makeup there. I think that looks, makes him look even scarier. You can kind of see some of his skin underneath that, like his real face. And speaking of that, it is really hard to see on the inside of those eye holes there. I don't know if he actually has any details underneath the mask. And I'm obviously not going to take it off, but it is interesting there that they could have done something there. They might not have. I can't see it. Yeah, if they didn't bother, that's totally fine. It actually makes him look creepier like this anyway. I like the big, poofy black hair. And it does have a little bit of shading to it to make it seem, like real hair and not just some black mass on the top of his head. So that's pretty cool. I do like the dress shirt that he's got on. How it's this nice, you could believe that, this is probably, a white shirt or something like that. It's just super grimy and gross and hasn't been washed in, a million years and all of that. The tie itself looks good. I like the black color and, kind of this pink detail on there. And then he's got this really nice, kind of, really dark blue, suit coat. And he has a really nice, figure, really nice, I don't know what you would call it, but, shelf presence, I guess. Really nice silhouette. That's what I'm trying to say. A really nice silhouette. And I like the detail of, the pockets there and then, the buttons and all of that. And I think it's especially funny they have the detail of his fly being unzipped. So, yeah, there you go. I don't know if that's a detail in the movie. My guess is that it is. But yeah, it's cool that they went the extra mile. He's not wearing a belt. And he's got, super wrinkled pants. And he even has a little cut on his leg here from when he accidentally cuts himself with his own chainsaw. So that's really cool. I like that detail. The shoes themselves look good. Nice dress shoes with very pointed ends there. And then, yeah, that's about it. I mean, you got some wrinkle details there. And once again, NECA, they knocked it out of the park with this. I mean, there wasn't any doubt. By the way, on a side note, this guy is actually really heavy. This is probably the heaviest NECA figure that I have, and that's saying something because I have some of their Gargoyles figures. But yeah, this guy's got some weight to him. Let's see how much posability he's got. So looking up, he can look up basically not at all. He can look down a pretty decent amount. He can rotate side to side. He can pivot and that sort of thing. So I think that's pretty good. The arms can go out comfortably about that far. Now here is a fair warning here. If you're getting this figure, I'm just going to get this right out of the gate here. If you want to get this figure and you want him with the intention of recreating the famous pose at the end of the movie
when he's, you know, flailing the chainsaw around and all that. Well, let me show you that his arms can only go up about that far, and they kind of go at an angle. And then he does have a single joint for the elbow, which gives you about that much range, but going like straight up, that's about as close as you can get. And so if you have both of the arms working together, he can really only do that. So he kind of looks like Joker when he's jumping down the stairs when he's doing this, but yeah, he can't really do the chainsaw pose. So just a fair warning, he can't do that, but he can, you know, he can rotate all the way around. You do, like I said, get a bicep joint, and then you get a swivel there, or that's not bicep, that's an elbow. He doesn't have a bicep joint, but he does have an elbow joint. That's what I mean. I guess another detail I forgot to mention is that he does have his bracelet there, and that is actually removable. You can slide that off if you want. That is cool that he has that. He does have a swivel and a little bit of a hinge for the wrist. For the torso, and I guess before we get into the torso, his tie, it actually is articulated. It can just swing side to side like that, but I think that that's cool that you can have it, you know, like a wind-swept look as he's running, so that's kind of cool. As for the torso itself, there's nothing up here, but there is a joint down here at the waist, so it can go back not very much, can go forward a pretty decent amount, can rotate side to side, swivel, of course. So there you go, not the most range, but I feel like that is kind of understandable. I mean, you can tell just looking at this figure, it's not going to have the most posability out there. For the legs, they can go out comfortably about that far. Then they can go forward a pretty decent amount. They can go back just a little bit, but I think that that is fine. He doesn't have much in terms of a thigh swivel, but I personally don't mind that. I know some people do, though. But yeah, and then for the knees, you get about that much range. You can pivot that, and then for the ankle, they go back a little bit, they go forward a little bit, and you can pivot and turn those as well. So there you go. Like I said, he can't have the chainsaw above his arms, but there you go. So what he can do, though, with the chainsaw, why don't we just show it off first? Here is this. Of course, this would really make me question NECA if they had like all of this, but they didn't give him the chainsaw. I'd be like, what are you doing? But yeah, I really like the green color there. They got nice details of like the cord and all of this. I'm not the biggest, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to chainsaws, but I'll trust that all of these details are accurate to what actual chainsaws are like, and especially the one used in the movie. I do like the detail with the blades there of how they're kind of alternating in colors here, how some of them are darker than others. And it's got a nice weathered look to it, like you would believe that this guy's used it for many an unfortunate victim. Yeah, and then in terms of him holding it, again, he can't hold it above his head, but he can hold it decently well enough. I did have him holding this prior to recording, so he can hold it with just the one hand like that, pretty straightforward. It looks like he's about to cut some turkey or something. But yeah, so he can kind of hold it like that, and then he can take his other hand, and they can have it kind of gripping this other piece up top here. So he can kind of do, you know, something like that, and I think that that works well enough. Like, you can tell who this is supposed to be, and you get across the point of, you know, what he's trying to do and all that, and he's running after you. And while he's running after you, if you don't like this look of the coat being like neutral like this, they actually bothered. I can't believe they did this. They actually included the same exact coat piece, but it's windswept off to the left. I cannot believe this. When I got this out of the package and I saw that, I was like, there's no way they actually included that. That just shows, like, I don't want to hear anything about NECA saying of they don't try hard enough. They included this. This was absolutely not required, and yet they did. Just in case you absolutely wanted to recreate something more like this, they gave you that option, and so that is really cool. So yeah, if you are interested in that, yeah, pick this up. Like I said, he can't exactly hold it above his head, but if you wanted to have that windswept look, if he's running after somebody, you have that option, and that's really cool that they included that. So there you go. He does, of course, have some relaxed hands. These are the ones that came on him in the package. So just simple, nothing really to write home about, but they are nice inclusion there. You do get some food. Of course, this is the dinner scene that Sally escapes from. So you got some stuff here, and I would not want to eat any of this because it probably has human remains as part of it. But yeah, it's got a nice gross look to it, and you pair this with the food that came with the Thanksgiving Chucky blind box figure, and you could have like a full course meal of just food from NECA figures. But yeah, there you go. You do get a meat cleaver, which it looks nice. I think it looks really good. I like the detail of the hole being in there, and then I like the really long handle there. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be that long, but it's a nice detail and gives it a unique look, so there's that. He does have a mallet as well, so if you kind of want to recreate the scene, even though he wasn't dressed like this, you want to recreate the scene of him bashing the guy over the head with the mallet and then slamming the door shut. You could do that if you want. I do think it's cool that that's a nice little inclusion there. And even if you don't want it, it's still there, so cool. Then you do also get this knife, which, for being as small as it is, this has a ton of detail on it. So it's got this really bright silver blade on there, which itself is actually kind of sharp. And then you have these details of like the string and this like wood, and like the wood is old and grainy and all of that. And I don't exactly know how well it's coming across on camera, but it has a ton of like small detail. Like, it actually looks like a piece of wood with like a really tiny string like tying the blade to it, and that is really cool that they did that. Because if this had been like, you know, any other company, they either wouldn't have bothered or they would have included this, but it would have been really bare bones in terms of detail. And honestly, most people probably wouldn't have even noticed, but this just shows of like NECA, they know their stuff, okay? And they don't skip when it comes to accessories. And as proof of that, they also have the armadillo. I'm sure this is meant to be the armadillo from the beginning of the movie, the one that's dead on the side of the road. But it's cool that they have that. It doesn't have any articulation in it. It's just kind of here. But then again, that would make sense if it's supposed to be the dead one. But even if you don't want it to be dead, you can have this as kind of a display of just wandering around and all of that. So I think that that's really cool. I like the detail of the shell there, and it is nice hard plastic. So there's that. There isn't a wire in the tail, but it is soft and flexible enough to where if you want to pose it, I guess you could if you hold it in a pose for long enough. And you got nice details with the face there. So yeah, this definitely looks like an armadillo. And like I said, I think it's supposed to be dead, so you're basically supposed to have it posed like this. But, you know, regardless, it is included, and that's really cool. And then I guess the last thing to talk about is, of course, the box. So it's got the 50-year anniversary here. And again, you can't do that, but whatever. It says, "Who will survive? What will be left of them? Texas Chainsaw Massacre." This is the Pretty Woman Leatherface, even though I don't think it says so on the box. This is product shots. You get that. Then on the back, you get some poses of what he can do. And then you get what's included. You get their pose there. You get this on the top, which is pretty cool. And then on the bottom, you got this. Shout outs to all of these people. There's that, if that helps. And then if you crack this open, you get a nice product shot of him. And then in the back, you get a nice picture of the sky with the sun and all of that. So there you go. So there's that. Now, if I'm done talking about the figure, but in case you want to know where I got this from, stay tuned and I could hook you up with a deal potentially. I got this off of a website, which you may have heard of it before. I've actually ordered from them before, but I figured I haven't actually given them the proper credit yet. I got this from the Nerdzoic toy store. And this is an online store that started as a YouTube channel of like this couple who they really like, they're all about toys and action figures and all that, and they decided, you know what, let's make our own toy store. So they did, and they have a whole class system of what types of figures they have and the condition of the box and the condition of the figure. And yeah, it's really simple. If you live in the United States, like, shipping is just not an issue. It's very simple, very straightforward process, and yeah, really good customer service. And so yeah, if y'all are interested in where I got this, check out the Nerdzoic toy store. Last I checked, they still have plenty of these in stock. So yeah, and even if you're not interested in this, but you're interested in other stuff, they have a ton of other things. So yeah, check those guys out if y'all are interested. But yeah, that's about it with this. So if you enjoyed this video, you like Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or whatever it might be, be sure to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you like this guy? You're not like this guy. Or is the thing that he can't hold his arms above his head, is that a deal breaker for you? Or is it a thing of, it would have been nice, but it's not that big of a deal, whatever it might be. If you want to see more content like this, you could definitely subscribe. Stay tuned for future stuff. Check out my other NECA horror reviews and all of that if you are interested. Check out Nerdzoic if you're interested. They have tons of stuff there. But other than all of that, I do hope you enjoyed. I hope they'll see you all later.